Hey everybody, it's Lawrence, lawrencelanoff.com. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like what I'm talking about, share it with some friends. So, wow. It is a beautiful rainy day here in New York City. And I thought it would be a perfect time to discuss flow. So, when I first had my early awakening experience, which was it's almost 13 years ago now, one of the things that happened is that I found myself in this expanded awareness state. And the big state lasted about 3 months. It was sort of 3 months of unitive consciousness. And it was like walking around and hearing and feeling, and like I am right now, like hearing the birds and the sounds and just having this sense of oneness with life. And one of the things that I came to realize is that if you sit in a cave nonstop, if you sit in a cave and you're just hanging out and you're looking at a wall, it's very easy to think that you've got it. You know, it's very easy to think like, oh, I've got this life stuff worked out. But what I came to realize through living in New York City and through continuing to ask questions, what I came to realize is that in fact I didn't have everything worked out. In fact, life was a little bit more subtle than that. You know, that in fact it isn't that things are all worked out, it's that life is still happening. And because life is still happening, there's this whole world that continues to open up. And that world is the world of reality. Reality has to do with recognizing that who or what or how you are continues to be an experience. So in the experience, you're left with kind of what is, and that is reality, not what is going on in your head only, not what is like your belief about things, but in fact, what is the tangible experience? What is the gravity of the situation? And that is what I call, when you step into reality, that is what I call flow state. And flow state is very much like the feeling of, it's like the feeling that you get when you are moving and you lose sense of time. And the loss of time, the loss of space, time, is a specific feeling. And it's a beautiful feeling, and that's the feeling that I call flow. And so that's what I wanted to talk to you about. It's just flow, like the ability to move through space and time in ease, in breath, to take in, to not be running from raindrops, for example, but to just feeling the chill, the cold, the sensation, because the sensation means that you are alive. And that's where life is happening. Life is happening in aliveness. Life is happening in between the raindrops and underneath the raindrops. Life is happening right now, right here, in this moment. This is the time. This is the place. There is, in reality, nothing else except this space and time that you're occupying right now, even as you're listening to me. And so there's a partial delusion because we believe that, you know, oh, you're living in the past or you're living in the future, but you're actually living right here, right now. Now your mind, because that's what the mind does, the brain is, you know, it's looking out, it's trying to protect you. Maybe you use dissociation, maybe you use future projection, thinking about your past. But the reality is you are here. This spot. And that's okay. Because in that moment is where flow appears. So right now, I begin to shift my body, and in shifting my body, my awareness expands. In my awareness expanding, I become aware of other things. And that tunes me into flow. And when I tune into flow, I can start to feel. Because flow is where life is happening. Flow is where life is happening. This moment. Rain, wind, birds, trees. Life is happening here, not in a cave, though there's nothing wrong with caves. I love caves. Do some of my best teaching in caves. But breathing in this moment of now begins to allow you to access a very deep power inside. And I invite you to take that power into life. Not that life takes you from the power. That's the big mistake of spirituality and religion, is to be thinking that life is taking you away from reality. That your body, your shapes, your sexuality, your empowered self is actually taking you away from your true spiritual nature. And in fact, that is incorrect. That the body, the breath, the life, the sexuality, the creativity, the empowerment, this is what allows us to participate in the experience of being alive. Sitting in a cloistered cave, not so much. You don't know. You don't know if things are going to piss you off, what you're going to like and not like, because you're sitting in a cave. But in life, feeling, breathing, connecting. Make sure you check out my breathing video if you haven't already. Because this is where life is happening. This moment. And the good news is that even if you're projecting into the future or thinking about the past, the reality is this moment is where all of that is happening. Expand your awareness into life. Because this is it. No place to get to. No place to be. Right here, right now. Thank you for joining me today. Breathe, participate, feel, experience. Because this is where life is happening. In flow. In the now. Thanks for joining me. I will see you in the next video. Remember to subscribe. Go visit my page. Read some blogs. Comment on some stuff. Share your thoughts. I'd love to hear. See you in the next video. Bye.